I'm going to ask you this question. Why do so many people that have always hated Duke basketball not hate the 2025 Duke basketball team? 2024, 2025. I am an over-consumer of sports media. So within the last couple of days, I've heard former number 2 overall NFL draft pick Chris Long. I've heard former Ohio State walk-on Mark Titus. I've heard LeBron James, who you know who that is. Brett Friedlander, writer, Saturday Down South. Numerous UNC fans. Jay Billis, Ryan Russillo, Big Cat from PMT. All of these guys have in some form or fashion either said, I don't hate this Duke team like I usually do. They've either talked about why people aren't hating this Duke team the way they usually do, or tried to explain some form of why they're more likable. That is enough of a buzz that I think we should look at this. If I'm Duke, I don't like it. If I'm Duke, if I'm Jon Scheyer, if I'm the Duke program, I kind of want to be hated, and not individually, right? I never liked like the threats and stuff. And JJ Redick recently, or actually not recently because he's a coach now, when he was a podcaster, really opened up the window to some of the stuff he dealt with. Not cool, right? Some of the stuff about his sisters, some of the threats and all that. That's not cool. But if, as far as like hating an opponent in a basketball sense, I wear that like a badge of honor if I'm Duke. You don't boo people you don't know. You don't boo people who aren't good. You don't boo people you're going to beat by 40. You boo people that have beaten you. Jon Scheyer is likable. That's kind of the number one reason that everybody's come up with, right? Jon Scheyer seems like a nice guy. You know what Jon Scheyer is not yet? The establishment. Right? Coach, I wasn't around in the triangle, but my family was. I've heard the legends. Coach K was a disruptor, but a little more upstarty. Like, he wasn't immediately the guy that was lecturing Dylan Brooks in the handshake line after a game that Duke beat Oregon, right? He wasn't always the guy that would grab the microphone to yell at Duke fans for not being nice to Jeff Capel as he coached Pitt. Like, he wasn't always that guy. Coach K was kind of like the upstart guy when he was trying to upend Dean Smith and Valvano and lefty over there at Maryland, or Bobby Cremins at Georgia Tech, right? When he was trying to attack the ACC as the young new guy, it wasn't the same. That's just kind of where Scheyer is now. As Duke started winning and winning and winning and winning, that's when they became hateable, right? Oh, I think it was Jon Scheyer that started it. Or, I mean, I think it was Christian Laettner that started it. Maybe that's where it really crystallized itself. But also, it's where they went to a billion straight Final Fours and won 2 national championships. That might have had something to do with it as well. This team, it's good. And if you don't hate it, why not? Why did you hate the other ones and not this one? Because this one is good. What's the difference between Cooper Flagg or Con Knippel or Tyrese Proctor and the, I don't know, the teams that you, I guess, printed out posters of and put them on your garage wall and threw darts at? What's the difference? Really, it's just there's still doubts about this one. Right? No, do you know how many national championships Jon Scheyer's won as a coach? None. These freshmen, what have they done? Nothing. It's a likable team, I guess, but I think that's more on you than on them. And if I were them, I'd be. Why aren't you giving me the same treatment you gave Bobby Hurley? Why aren't you giving me the same treatment you gave these hated players before me? When you signed up for Duke, you know what you're getting into. You know what I find is an interesting question? Coach K hasn't been to a NCAA tournament game for Duke since he's retired. He's been to a bunch of home games, right? He's been to a bunch of Duke games, but he hasn't been to an NCAA tournament game. I'm interested if he turns up in San Antonio. And also, the other thing I want to make sure happens here is I'm seeing a lot of like Oh, Coach K, do you want to make fun of him for the farewell tour now? Look at how their transition of power has worked out. Jon Scheyer has seamlessly jumped into the role. What's John Rothstein's thing? Jon Scheyer secession, right? It's all this about the moving on. I don't want to give the success credit to Jon Scheyer and this Duke program to Coach K. Obviously, he built the foundation, and I'll use a Will Wade saying. Will Wade, sorry, I'm using it for Duke. Right? You drink from the well, but don't forget those that dug it. Like, Coach K built the foundation, but if he would have announced on a Monday that he was retiring and Jon Scheyer took over on a Tuesday and didn't have a full year, I still think Jon Scheyer would be a good coach. I don't think that's the cause of the successful transition of power. I think it's you pick the right guy. It's the same thing when people are, you have to sit your quarterback that you draft high for a year. Look at Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going like, don't disrespect Patrick Mahomes like that. I think if he would have played from the first day, he'd still be really good. Coach K does still talk about this team, though. He has his show that he talks Sirius XM, and he talked about the unshellfish. I'm going to try that, not unshellfish. That would be like, what people who are allergic have to be, unshellfish. Coach K talked about the unselfish nature of Cooper Flagg and Con Knippel.
In college basketball, you have to say those two are as hard working as any youngsters playing. I mean, they play every play hard. And then it's not about them because of being with a family from great families. They're unselfish. They're good about someone else being good. And Cooper has been amazing with that. His support of his teammates while he's getting what he gets and what he should get has been remarkable. But really, that helps Jon Scheyer and his staff so much because they build on that. You try to recruit great kids and great players. Boy, we hit the jackpot with these two guys.
I'm going to give Coach K the okay to say we. But Jon Scheyer hit with those guys. like Coach K, you can say we, right? I mean, my dad's a Duke fan. He says we. So Coach K definitely can. But Jon Scheyer is the one that hit, right? I want to make sure the credit goes to the correct people. I don't want this championship to be won and have everybody go, what a job Coach K did. He built the foundation, don't get me wrong, but he's got 5 we can attribute to him. This one would be the new group. There's not a lot of recruits out there from the Coach K era still contributing to this team.
I think the reason why this team is not so hateable as opposed to years past is because I think part of it is the unselfish nature in which their top guys play. Mm-hmm. But also, you don't have that whiny dude, that whiny out there. Like, you don't have the Grayson Allen tripping people then crying about it. Like, you don't have that.
Wait, hold on. I want to make sure I'm not misremembering. Wasn't there early in the year, was it Con Knippel that maybe got accused of a trip?
I missed that.
Okay. I don't want to be but I remember there was something that happened, and I think it was Con. I think it was Con. Okay, right here. February 8th. It looked like he may have tripped. Who are they playing here? I see. Clemson. Clemson. It looks like he may have trapped whoever number 11 is between his legs, and then he was throwing his hands up. And I remember watching it and going, "There's the start." Whether he intended to or not, right? Mm-hmm. That hasn't mattered in the past. I'm like, "There's the start. He's the guy. Everybody's gonna hate him." And for whatever reason, 2 days later, it went away, and that never happened for Grayson. It never happened for Kyle Filipowski, or it just never went away for these other guys. So there is something this group gets the benefit of the doubt, and I don't know why.